Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Demon Reads Comics. Today, we're going to finally continue and finish up the series of The Sandman. Today, we're doing Neil Gaiman's The Sandman Omnibus Volume 3. This is published by DC Comics, and it does have beautiful sewn binding. And unlike the first two books, this one, I actually quite enjoy it. Or, unlike the first two books, I enjoyed the look of this one, is what I meant. Because the other two books, it was exactly the same except the pages were white. This one, the pages are black, as you can see here. And what's weird about it is, it's just like the outline of it is black. Because, as you can see, the inside, the pages are just normal. But it's just, I like that the pages on the outside are black. Why did they do that? Well, this one was supposed to focus on one single character, but not really. In a nutshell, it focused on one character, but there's a lot of short stories in between it. The one character it's supposed to focus on is Death. And I think that's why it's like that. Now, don't get me wrong, the stories in here are great. But after I got done reading, the first omnibus and the second omnibus, and it kind of finished up, it was kind of a slow read on the last part of it. Like, I was kind of over it already. And going into this one, I did like that it talked about Death, because I do like Death. I like Delirium. I like Morpheus. But it just kind of felt like it dragged on for no reason. And there's one story in here that just, and I'll tell you guys which one it is. And when I say, like, it was, and then it was, again. So, while I really enjoyed the, Sandman, storyline, I think it dragged on a little too much, for my taste. But overall, it was a good story. I love the story. I love the character building of Morpheus, and what's cool about it is a lot of stories in here are kind of based off of other stories that happen in the first book. So if you guys haven't read the first book yet at all, or the first 37 issues of it, I highly recommend that you guys kind of stay away from this one, because there's going to be minor spoilers in some of these stories that I talk about. So you guys been warned. Please, if you guys haven't read the first 37 issues, stay away from this one, please. And like I said, stay away from it. After you finish it, come back and definitely check it out. But anyway, let's go ahead and crack this open. Let's talk about the little stories a little bit. I'm not going to go too much into the stories at all. Maybe the first couple one. After that, I'll just tell you this is what this is what this is, and go from there. But yeah, let's go ahead and crack this open and see what you guys think about this last omnibus. Alrighty, guys, so let's go ahead and crack this open and talk about the stories a little bit. Like I said, it's by Neil Gaiman, but not only is it by Neil Gaiman, there's a whole bunch of other people here. So, written by Neil Gaiman, illustration by a whole bunch of people. Just to name a few is Chris Bachalo, Mark Buckingham, Mark Pennington, Yoshitaka Amano, and a handful of others. I don't want to discredit them, so I'll let you guys check that out. Colored by Laverne Kindzierski, Dave Stewart, Steve Olive, and a few others. Like I said, not to discredit them, but I'll let you guys check them out. Lettered by Tom Klein, cover art by Dave McKean. Obviously, the Sandman is based off characters created by Neil Gaiman, Keith, and Mark Drenenberg. I don't know whether they weren't actually in the illustration, but anyway. So, the table of contents is actually very... I know the other one didn't really matter because there was just a whole bunch of issues, but it's issues in the same story. This one's a little bit different. This one, you got 3 issues of a story from Death. You got Death talks about... this one's kind of weird. She talks about sex. I'll get to it. Then you got Sandman Midnight Theater, which is another story. It is kind of long, though. Then you got 3 other issues of Death that actually have to do with this first one. This one kind of pissed me... It was a good story, but it kind of pissed me off. I'll tell you guys here in a little bit why. And then you got small little issues of each endless character. Death, Desire, Dream, Despair, Delirium, Destruction, Destiny. Then you got another story of the Sandman, the Dream Hunters, the comic, which is exactly like this. This is the novel. This is the comic. Why add both of them? If I'm going to read the one or the other, like, why? So I got done reading that one. I read through all this, and then I read it again. I was like, oh, come on, guys. This is, no. And then you got the Sandman Overture. The Sandman Overture kind of talks about Morpheus's time, or the Sandman's time before he gets captured, why he was weak and how he got captured. Well, in the first book, it explains how he got captured, but it's like his time before he gets captured, why he gets weak and he gets captured. Then you got a gallery. You got a short issue, which is a very short, like when I was going through the gallery, I kind of almost skipped it. Then you got the Sandman gallery. You got another small issue. And then you got the Endless gallery. With the Endless with all those galleries, I'm going to flip through a little bit of it, not all of them. But anyway, so what is the first story about? The first 3 issues? Well, if you guys don't remember her, she does show up in Omnibus 1 or 2, Mad Hattie. And Mad Hattie's actually, she's been around. I think she shows up when they do the issue of John Constantine. She shows up there and she comes back and she needs help from Death. And right here is pretty much a small introduction. And then we get introduced to the main character of this issue. His name is Sexton Furnival. And he's kind of done with life. He doesn't have anything going on in life, so he's kind of done with it. He's kind of writing a suicide note. And before he actually, I guess, commits the act of that, his mom is doing like the spring cleaning and kicks him out of the house. He goes on the walk and he ends up like at this dumpster place, or like this garbage dumpster place, and the refrigerator falls on him. And who helps him? Death. See, the thing is with Death, I think it says every century, so like every 10 years or every 100 years, something like that, she's able to become immortal for one day so she can appreciate the lives that she takes. And so she kind of helps Sexton a little bit, and they go kind of on an adventure. Because before that, she takes him back to her house, helps him, bandages him up, takes care of his wounds and things like that. And then finally, they go on an adventure. What adventure is that? Well, they go on an adventure to find Mad Hattie's heart. And during that time, they meet up a few people. They meet up with Hazel, which is Sexton's, I guess you can call her a friend. She used to work at the restaurant that her mother owns. She was the chef there, but he meets up with her. It's actually right about... They're still on the little adventure. They go to this nightclub, and that's where they meet her. There she is, right here. And what are they doing there? Well, Hazel's girlfriend is getting ready to perform. Her name is Foxglove. And they see the performance. They eventually get, I guess, kind of kidnapped. Not really, because they follow the dude, and then the dude kind of sets them up, and they get kidnapped a little bit. And somebody takes Death's, I guess you can call her necklace. But eventually, they find Mad Hattie's heart. They give it back to her. Nice story. It ends nicely. Very nicely, actually. I quite enjoyed this very much. Kind of just flipping through so you guys can see the art. The art's beautiful. So then, like I said, it ends with, Death. I guess having her death, because she has that death, because she's only there for 24 hours as a human. And then she goes back to her responsibilities. So then we get to the next story. This story was very, very near and dear to my heart. Why? Because one of the very first books, comic books that I've ever read was Starman. Starman's father was good friends with a guy named Wesley Dodds. Wesley Dodds is also called the Sandman, because he puts people to sleep using gas. But I'm sorry, before we talk about that, this is Death Talks About Life. This is Death literally talking about sex, STDs, using condom protection. She uses a banana for, it's weird. It's like a public service announcement, and that was about it. This is the one I was talking about, the Midnight Theater. And this is the story about Morpheus. Not really Morpheus, though. It's more about Wesley Dodds, the Sandman. As you can see here, he has a gas mask, he has a gun. When he presses it, people go to sleep. So he doesn't actually kill people, which is awesome. The way this is kind of... What happens is Wesley Dodds goes and meets up with a friend. The guy commits suicide after he receives a package. And Wesley Dodds goes on an adventure to find out why his friend killed himself. When that happens, the adventure takes them to a big mansion. That mansion is actually... what's his name? Burgess from the very first book, where when they capture Morpheus. That's the big mansion there. So he's at a party there, and he's trying to investigate. So after everybody leaves, he's still investigating, and he sees Morpheus in the glass thing that he's in. So it was so awesome, these two meeting up together, and it was such an amazing story. It was a bit long though, like the first 3 issues was kind of hefty. I'm gonna put my finger right here, and I'm gonna kind of flip through this. At this time, him and Diane are not married yet. They're still kind of like relationship off and on. So it's also a story about Diane helping her friend because somebody's blackmailing her. And it ends very nicely, actually. I just like that there was like this meeting up face to face with Wesley Dodds, the Sandman, and Morpheus, the Sandman. It was so amazing seeing that. It was so amazing. And the art, as you can tell, it's a lot different from the other ones. But I'm trying to get to the part where he sees face to face with Morpheus. Right here, look at that. Oh, God. Wesley Dodds, the Sandman. Morpheus, the Sandman. Oh, God. That was so amazing. But anyway, it ends up nicely. I'm not going to give away the story of it, but it was such an amazing story. Like I said, it was long, and look how much it is. It was quite a thick one. And then we move on to the next death story. The next death story has to do with Hazel from the first story, the first 3 issues. And her girlfriend, actually, it actually has to do more with Foxglove. Hazel's girlfriend, Foxglove, is actually big now. She's on tour. You'll know why she's actually big now. She's on tour and things like that. And we come to find out that Hazel makes a deal with Death. And when that deal comes into play, a whole bunch of things happen. Foxglove goes back to town, or back to her home, to try to save Hazel and her son. But what I really like about this is, if you guys don't know who who Foxglove is, in the very first book of the Sandman, spoilers, there is a part after Morpheus gets out of his case, after he's been imprisoned, he goes after 3 of his relics. He goes after his helmet, his ruby, and his pouch of sand. When he gets his pouch of sand, I talked about John Constantine in the first one, right? But when he goes after his ruby, he finally grabs the ruby, but he kind of passes out for some reason because Dr. D, he did something to it. So right after Morpheus grabs the ruby, he kind of passes out. Dr. D gets it, and he goes to this kind of like restaurant, like this little diner, I guess you can call it. And there's an issue in that diner. That issue's crazy. But there's a girl in that diner. Her name is Judy. And Judy is trying to call Donna, and Donna try to apologize and everything. Well, sure enough, this is actually Donna. She changed her name from Donna to Foxglove. So that was very great. But this story is freaking amazing, actually. And I actually quite enjoyed this story and these 3 issues and the other 3 issues of Death. And I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed the issues of Wesley Dodds, the Sandman, as well. But then I'm gonna kind of flip through this kind of quick. I wanted to show this guy because this was so amazing to me how they did that. Small epilogue. This is like years later. This is Foxglove, this is Hazel, and this is their son Alvy. But what I wanted to show you about this is when they drive away, the car, the license plate has Death on it. So this right here, the Sandman, the Dream Hunters. There's a short story in one of them of the first omnibus. I'm not sure if it's connected to that, but there's this guy that's just walking and walking. His family's been disgraced, and he's walking in the sand, and he eventually meets up with this guy, or with I'm sorry, not this guy, but he eventually meets up with the Sandman in like this desert place. I believe that guy is the father of the character that they talk about in this story. So this story has to do with 3 kind of individuals. It has to do with the monk that's in a small temple, and the badger and the fox. that badger and that fox make a wager that they're trying to kick out that monk from that temple, and so they can live there because they're tired of living in their den and their little cave. They go at him for a little bit, but eventually, they stop, and the fox kind of falls in love with that monk. A whole bunch of things happen about the monk's dreams, the fox's dreams, and it's kind of like a happily ever after type of thing. It's kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really enjoy this story. Why didn't I read it? Because it really is a novel. You read it all, and then small picture. Read it, small picture. And this was kind of a gigantic book. It starts right here. And it goes on for a hefty amount. Yeah, right there. Look at that much. But what I wanted to show you guys in this, that the other ones didn't do whatsoever, so I appreciated this a lot, is while I was reading this, they did like this, 2-page thing where you saw the art. But not only that, there it is. Oh, skipped it. This right here, the fold out. They did it twice in this story. Oh God, it was so amazing. They did it twice in the story, and it was so amazing to me that they did that. But then after that, we get short stories, each like one shots of each of the endless. This story is about death, which the stories were okay. I'm not gonna lie. The story about the next character was also awesome, but more importantly, what I enjoyed about it the most was the artist that they used for the story of Desire. Desire, for most people that don't know, has to do with sex and things like that. And who is the best person to include that kind of art? Milo Manara. If you guys know, you know, but there's a lot of nudity in this, and the way he does his art is beautiful. Oof. Just so amazing. He does so much amazing work. For those of you that are kind of like into the erotica stuff, definitely check him out. But anyway, so then you got Dream. There's a short story about Dream. Kind of flipping through it kind of quick, so you guys can check out the art. And then you got Despairs. Despairs is a little bit weird, actually. Then you got Delirium. I like Delirium a lot because she's kind of like a little kid. And it reminds me so much of when I was a kid. Like, your mind is just everywhere. So, I don't know. That's why I like her as a character, because it reminds me of myself being a kid and just having so many thoughts and wanting to do this, wanting to do that. My mind just going everywhere. And the way she is, it's just so amazing to me, like a little kid. Destruction. And then Destiny. Alright guys, so this is kind of where it pissed me off, because after I got done with that, I started reading this. The Sandman, the Dream Hunter. That one novel thing that I was telling you about the fox, about the badger and the monk, they did it again, but in comic format. So now you get to see everything that was happening. There's that little temple. There's the fox. There's the badger. There's the monk. Like, it was the whole story in itself. And it kind of pissed me off, because if I was going to read this, why did they include the other one? Or vice versa. Like, so yeah, it's the same exact story. It's, the fox falls in love with the monk, vice versa. And the reason that they fall in love with each other, because she comes to him in this beautiful form like this, and he falls in love with her. But yeah, anyway, I was not a big fan of that, so I'm gonna kind of flip through this quick. It's kind of a big chunk of the book, as you can tell from the other one. Like, look, it's still going. It's still going. Still, and I'm grabbing chunks. So So then finally we get to the last part, kind of towards the end, is the Sandman Overture, where most of these issues has to do with Morpheus's time before he gets captured. But this is so amazing to me, though, right here. I wanted to show this. I was hoping I caught this. This is teeth. And there's like different little, like the comic tiles of each one is in the teeth. That's so amazing to me. But yeah, these are all little stories before he gets caught. And before he gets imprisoned for like almost 100 years. It's like about 70, actually. And then finally, towards the end of this, I don't want to give away what happens, because it's an interesting story. We get towards the end of the book. Wait, hold on. This is another one that was freaking amazing to me. Look at that. You don't see too many books do that, where it flips out like that. But then you go to the Death Gallery. Oh, I don't know why I have such a crush on Death. Just the way they made her character. I know she's a comic character, but Jesus. Her art is, the art gallery is beautiful. Like, look at that one. That's so amazing. That one's amazing. Like, I literally want to print this out and have it as a poster. And this one too. And this one, like, oh god. This one's kind of awesome too. Anyway, after the Death Gallery, there is a small, here it is right here. There's a small little, like, it's called Winter's Edge. A small little comic. I almost missed this because I was kind of flipping through the gallery quick. And it's really small. Look, it starts right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, done. 5 pages. I almost missed it. And then you got the Sandman Gallery. Just a whole bunch of pictures of the Sandman like they did with Death. This one's so freaking awesome. Wesley Dodds Sandman looking at Morpheus' Sandman. This one's awesome of Death. And then you got another one shot real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pages. I almost missed it. Like I said, if you guys go through and you guys are like, I don't really want to check out the gallery, you would flip through and you would miss those last ones. And then finally at the end, you got the Endless Gallery with all of them. You got Destiny, Destruction, Despair, Death, Delirium, Dream, and Desire. Oh, so amazing. Delirium. Oh, she's so freaking awesome. Here's another one of her. But yeah, the gallery at the end is awesome to check out. This one's so cool because, like, when you think of Death, you think of her being the Grim Reaper, and you never see her with the scythe. And that's so awesome that they gave it to her right there. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. But it was kind of like I was over it already. So, but anyway, then at the end, you get a quick biography of all the people that worked on it, like the other three. The other 3 omnibuses also had the biography of everybody, so that's the end of it. And then, of course, I got the leaflet. So anyway, that's it for this one. I hope I didn't spoil it too much. Let's go ahead and do the next part of it where I give this book a rating. Alrighty, guys. So what is my rating for this book? Well, before I do the rating, let's do a quick recap of this. This is Neil Gaiman's The Sandman Omnibus Volume 3. Published by DC, and it does have sewn binding with the pages being black. Well, I guess the outline of the pages. So I think I'm going to give this, I kind of want to give it a 6.5, but because I don't want to do the 0.5s, I'm going to give it a 7, round up. Why? Because while I enjoyed the short stories of, you know, Death with the Overture was kind of okay, I was kind of over it already. So to say I really enjoyed the book, not really. I was kind of over it after the after the second one. So this one was kind of for people that just want a little bit more, and I was kind of over it. So I'm giving it a 7. I know some people love this. I love Death, but they could have, man, if they would have made the Sandman story a little bit shorter and included her in the other ones, it would have been great. But anyway, so it being a 7, like I said, I would keep it, but I'm actually giving these 3 books to my sister. When the time comes for me to reread them, I'm going to reread, or I'm going to ask her for them back, and then do the reread, and then do another video of that. So, well, I did enjoy it. I'm not keeping them. I'm giving them as a gift to my sister. And so, yeah, I do enjoy it. For the people that just want the main story of the Sandman, I just honestly recommend the first 2 omnibuses. But if you guys are collectors, obviously get the third one. So that's my rating for this book. If you let me know down in the comments what you guys think of this. If you guys think it's for sure, if you guys love this, if you guys didn't. Also, let me know if you guys have any recommendations for other books that I can, check out. I still have a big list of books to read. The next book I'm going to end up reading is called Berserker. I don't want to give anything away with that, just because the author of it kind of surprised me. So after Berserker, we're going to be doing Preacher. And then after Preacher, we're going to be doing The Boys. So stay tuned for those. They'll be coming. But for now, guys, that's it. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you guys haven't done so already, go give, like I said, a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps my channel out. Not only for me, but for, for YouTube to put my videos out there for other people to check out my videos. And so they can, I guess, make a decision on whether or not they want to pick up the book. So that being said, guys, take care, stay healthy, and we'll see you guys on the next one.